Hey!
Going into a pro debut with a complete and balanced physique makes Jimmy very dangerous.
Top of the morning, 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 top of the morning. Hold on, let's get this shit, let's get this shit, let's get this shit, let's
So exercise number 1, bicep preacher curl, or any exercise that you feel targets your bicep the best in terms of an isolation. Ideally do it dual rather than single arm. And what we're looking to do here, especially again if you're somebody who's had injuries in the past, is simply just get blood in the muscle. We're not concerned about load at all. Got 5 kilo on down here, which weighs pretty much nothing. All I'm going to be concerned about is being able to get my bicep short with a squeeze and lengthened with some load through it, minimal, but at the same time creating no aggravation to your distal bicep tendon or your elbow. Building this throughout the session with volume will make sure that by the time we finish exercise 1, biceps are warm. We'll do the same on the next tricep exercise, and then we're good to go into the session with a little bit more intensity.
3, 3, 3. That's it, warm them up. 9, 9, 9. 10, 10, 10. Good. 18, 18, 18. Again. 19, 19, 19. 20, 20, 20.
Straight in, straight in, straight in. 3, 2, 3. 4, 2, 3. 8, 2, 3.
Good. For anyone that's watching this and wants to replicate it in their gym, notice he's lowering it, not letting it drop, and he's not pulling it, he's dragging it, and he's not holding it, he's squeezing it. So it's drag, squeeze, lower. Drag, squeeze, lower. In the first set, we squeeze for 3 seconds. The second set, we squeeze for 2 seconds. The third set, we squeeze for 1 second. And the last set, we just lower and drag. The key to this is not moving the weight. It's lowering it, dragging it, and squeezing it, just like Jimmy's doing.
So rest periods also. You notice that I switch to a different machine. When you're doing this style of training, your rest periods want to be quite fast. 60, 90 seconds. Again, we're really maximising volume of blood into the muscle. So with it being a longer set at the beginning, the first couple of sets, me stood around for 2 or 3 minutes while Neil's doing that, you know, it's better if I can just do something. So the other preacher curl still hits me just as well. So I can jump on that now, have shorter rest periods, get the biceps full of blood, straight away they feel okay. So we'll finish this set off, which is going to be just a 1 second squeeze, like Neil said, and then the final set, no squeeze, and then we'll move on. Yeah, so final set is just a straight set, but again, same as the ones previous, we're not looking just to move the weight again, we're not looking to go with much tempo, or the tempo is going to be nice and slow. Same again, drag with a small micro squeeze at the top, lowering it down, or almost what you want to be thinking about doing is, if you're coming up in a preacher curl, you don't want this to be engaged. So if you start lifting, your anterior delt is on. You want to make sure that this is as loose and as far back as possible. So with a chest up, delts relaxed, and then we're dragging, and then when we get the squeeze, we're not, even though we are lowering it, we're almost forcing it away from ourselves, but keeping our shoulders soft, if that makes sense. That way the bicep's going to take the full load, rather than what people tend to do, shoulders forward, the rock here, your biceps aren't actually taking a lot of the load, it's your traps and your shoulders, and as they're lowering it down, they're doing the same. So your actual bicep is not being lengthened and shortened like it should be. exercise number 2. Exactly the same as exercise number 1, we're just replicating that with a tricep movement, again that you feel like you can get in both the short and the length. And so for me, this is the prime splitter. It's very good for me. I feel this through all the rep range. Neil's going to use the Vulcan, similar sort of style, but he just gets a better connection with that. So same again, 4 sets to 20, 3 seconds in the squeeze, set 1, 2 seconds, set 2, 1 second, set 3, all the way through final set. Minimal rest periods, get loads of blood in there, get pumped up as much as possible, but full control. For this tricep movement, or any tricep movement, what you'll typically see is people coming to here and doing this. What we need to really do is we need to take out all of this and start initiating from tricep only, which means when you're in the exercise, whether that be a rope or anything else, we want to make sure that we're tall again, our chest is up and our elbows are tucked back. So a good precursor for this is when I'm in this position here, I can feel the stretch at the back of my tricep, it's switched on. So I'll look for the stretch, and I find the stretch, I push my elbows back, and I just let it hang off that stretch. And where that is there, I need the weight to be light enough so I can keep my shoulders up, and then start pushing out with that stretch. I'm not doing this, I'm keeping my chest up and my shoulders there, and I'm thinking about forcing through the back of my arm, and it's going to be, you're going to feel vulnerable and weak at that position. You keep it on all the way through, squeeze, and as you come back up, force your elbows back so you feel that stretch again. When you're in the stretch position again, nice and vulnerable, slowly out and squeeze. That's where we want to be, right there. Every time, all the way up for the full stretch. Squeeze out. 1, 2. Can't stress how important enough it is from that position there to start with that out of the stretch position. We're not missing this to go there. It's slow and then squeeze. Now everything we do at the minute is obviously really slow. This is not something that'll stay forever. This is almost like training wheels training, because once you start to get used to how a movement should feel, you can go a little bit quicker because you've got more control over it. But now when people are susceptible to cheat or gain some mechanical advantage in places, it's really important that we just allow the muscles to take the load. Just allow it to take the load. It's going to hurt, it's going to burn. Pushing through that burn, but keeping mentally strong without you breaking in order to finish the rep and actually let the muscle do the work is something that you're going to have to get used to over a period of time, especially if you come from a background of getting reps from, let's say for example A to B, or reps are important. Right now to me, if I can only get 10 reps on there but the muscle was done, I'll take that any day over 20 reps and the muscle's not done. So, very important point.
This is the big boy exercise now.
Do you want to touch on why you created this program?
Yeah, so when I made this workout, it was on the flight home from the New York Pro that I won. And I had like 8 months to Olympia. And I was like super motivated, and I thought, right, I'm gonna write a training plan for this season. So when I wrote this arm plan, I did it in the most motivated mindset you could possibly be after qualifying for Olympia. But this is like there's high volume training, and there's what I call like extreme volume. This is extreme volume. So this is 50 reps, no rest. 40 reps, no rest, 30, no rest, 20. Listen, if you're going to do this at home, all you got to really think about is Find the spot, keep it on the spot, let it hurt, and just let it keep hurting until you've done 50. There's no backing out, you just got to keep going, like that real machine mentality mindset on this.
If you break before 50, take 5 seconds.
Yeah,
So,
if you break, if you physically can't do it and you get to failure, 5 seconds, straight back on it.
Okay.
But, you know, ideally, this is crazy. It's boom, 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 boom. Like, we're going to do what? 50, 50, 100, 40, 40, 180, 30, 30,
it's like
240.
What is like a 280 rep
20,
set?
20. Good maths.
Is it?
Very good maths. It's a 280 rep set with no rest. So, you do the maths. And there's no bad form. No bad form at all. That's 20, and that's starting to nip now. When that pain comes in, you really got to just block it out. Like,
Enjoy it.
enjoy it, block it out, like, just go through it. Because that's where the progress is made. Just note, guys, we're not throwing these reps about. Even though it's extreme volume, we're still controlled, lengthening, dragging, contracting. So 30 reps now. Jimmy's crafty. Every set he puts the weight up. Gotta keep your eye on this guy.
No time to fuck about.
Keep sneaking my weights up. 20, 21, come on. 22, 20, 30. Woo. Right, so last set, 20. 20 never felt such little reps. Like you'll notice, guys, we've just crept the weight up each set as the reps have got lower by 10. Oh, come on. Feel good?
Huh?
Feel good?
Yeah, I don't feel like I've got much of a pussy. I've got a vest on.
Oh, he's got vest on. Must feel good to me in shape.
He says it must feel good to be in shape. Look at him.
My arms ain't looking like that. It's no top condition, but in real seriousness, guys, like if you're watching this video and you're like a heavy kind of trainer, you train heavy, or maybe you're doing a push-pull legs type split and you just add in a bit of bis and tries on the session. Jimmy, I'm not sure if you mentioned this earlier, when we started training together a year ago, arms, I say in front of him, arms was his weakness. His arms have come up over 2 inch. 2.5 inch in a year. When we started training together, it's nothing to do with me, it's just training style. When Jimmy went from more of a push-pull legs kind of guy, doing a bit of try on the end of push and a bit of bi on the end of pull, he was rocking like 18-inch arms. Now 20.5 inch arms, potentially 21 when they're pumped. That, with his crazy legs, has now made his physique balanced. Because what was happening last year is he had these legs like nobody else, throwing his arms up, and it didn't balance, did it?
No,
whereas now, his front double's a balanced pose. So the reason I'm telling you this is, he's getting 2.5 inch on his arms on a year, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And
it was even less than a year, it was like within 3 months, it was there, weren't it?
They grew. But I'm just saying, like this, what we're telling you about today and showing you translates into muscle growth and creating a more balanced physique.
It's
now,
visuals, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we like it or not, bodybuilding is how you look. It is a visual sport.
Yes.
I don't care how intricate your training is. I don't care how intricate your programming is. If you look like shit, it doesn't matter. It doesn't translate. It doesn't correlate. I don't care how bad your training is, how bad anything is. If you've got muscle and you're building muscle, it's a good indicator that what you're doing is working. And especially if you're a coach like me and Neil, and we use our techniques on some of our clients as well, and we see that translate into visual improvements.
Yeah.
You know,
it works because if you look across his poses, side chest, which you'll just have seen on the video, his arms are bulging and they match the side leg. Front double, his arms hang with the tiny waist and bubbly quads. It's all there and it's balanced. Ab and thigh, when he's putting his hands up here, there's no space between his head, his arms are full. His favourite classic, again, the dominant arm pose, and now he's got that extra 2.5 inch. You can see it, and also in the back double, his peaks are in line, if not slightly higher than his delt cap, which on a scorecard, I'm gonna say it, makes you win shows. So like going into a pro debut with a complete and balanced physique makes Jimmy very dangerous. But anyway, enough nattering. We're going to do the next exercise.
We're coming in swinging.
Exercise 4 is laying tricep extensions. Now, this is something Jimmy taught me, and I want to relay it on to you because it's very, very useful. Now, when a lot of people do this, they kind of just to the forehead, up and down. Now, look what Jimmy's doing there, right there. He's putting his tricep in full extension. So it is in full extension there. So what he's looking to do here is hang the weight off the tricep there. And when he starts coming up, he's pushing from here. The whole movement starts right at the back of the tricep here. And what he's doing is, he's dragging it up out of there and squeezing, lowering it, stretch and hang, bringing it up. And if you can learn how to hang the weight off the back of the tricep there and initiate the movement from there, you will get more developed triceps at the back of the arm. You'll build that thickness. So he's stretching and hanging off the back of the tri and coming up. Right there. He's hanging and stretching and he's driving from there. One.
Yep, yabba.
And so this is something that I used to do a little bit more like this. And since doing it the way Jimmy showed me, made a massive difference. So I wanted to pass that on to you.
Almost when you're in that position, try and force it behind your head to really get that extra stretch.
Yeah, it's like, the way I think of it, it's like, let it hang off the muscle.
Yeah, and then just try and...
Not the elbow.
Yeah. 13. 14. 15. Pumping up now. 19.
Your bar.
My bar.
So with this one, guys, now weight, would you agree, Jimmy, obviously, like weight selection's key?
100%.
Now, I was training with Samson and we were doing these for 50 kg, but we were pumping them out, yeah? And that's his way of doing things, and that's great, and you know, it were tough. But when you're initiating the movement from here and dragging out, weight selection, you've got to pick a weight that you can do that with. So we use 20, 25, maybe 30 kg, and that allows us to execute it properly. I think for us, any heavier than that,
you're just going to be on your shoulders. You need to be, especially with tricep movement, I mentioned it a couple of times, you need to make yourself vulnerable in that position. Allow yourself to be weak there. Like a lot of people, as soon as they're weak in a position, they don't want to go there. But you're weak in that position because you've not got the muscle to be able to move the weight. So reduce the weight, get used to that bit of your muscle or that movement where you can get strong at it, and that's what's going to develop more tissue, because then you're working a muscle or part of your muscle that's never been worked before.
100%. So if you're at home and you're trying this and you're looking to initiate the tricep movement from here, don't be scared to go light to learn how to do it. Because when we started doing it, we started light, didn't we?
Load will always come.
Yeah, the load comes. Just a tip for if you're trying this at home. One more, bro.
Yep.
I fell you. Yep. Good.
So next exercise, and as Joe said behind the camera before, and as Neil just said, you know, people might think, why are we doing the same exercise twice? It's pretty simple really. We use the first exercise as initiation, and it's just going to be any machine or any movement that you feel comfortable, and that's not going to cause any irritation or injury, and that you're going to get a good pump on. So now we've gone through the session, biceps are a little bit more tight, but more so, a lot of blood in them, joints are lubricated. It's going to be very safe for us now to go into the same exercise, or an exercise again that we feel comfortable with and that hits us well, and do it a little bit heavier. I'm not a fan of heavy training on arms, especially like heavy skull pushes and things like that, but when we're at this point in the session, we can most definitely put more weight through the bicep safely and with good connection. So if I just move my arm like that now, I get a really good bicep connection, so it makes sense while we're primed just to put a little bit more through it. Still 15 to 20 reps, still high rep range, but just something to think about later on in the session. We've done the squeezes, we've done the stretches, now we'll do what Milos would call the heavy duty stuff, and just really finish the arms off really.
3, 4, 5, good. 6, nice and warm now, we move the weight. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, come on, fight it, 20. I'm going to call it then.
You're going to buy it?
I'm going to call it 25.
I reckon I maybe could have done it if you'd called it.
I'm going to do the YouTube trick on you.
4, 3, 2, 20. Worst thing about training Ultraflex is there's 1,000 pieces of kit everywhere, but everybody goes on a cable. So everyone just stands around cable machines.